Hi, welcome to the lecture on the functions of the heart and pericardium. My name is James O'Sullivan. First of all, let's look at some of the associations of the heart. Its exterior partner is the small intestine, and its meridian is connected to the small intestine. The channel or the meridian of the heart starts under the arm and it flows towards the radial side of the little finger. In terms of five elements, the heart is considered the most important organ, and again the element associated with the heart would be fire. The emotion that is associated with the heart is joy. Usually we don't see joy as pathological. In fact, it's part and parcel of good health. However, in terms of pathology, we see a connection between laughter and heart attacks. And we would also see heart as akin to inordinate cravings for it. This stirs up ministerial fire, and this flows upwards and it overstimulates the mind. Heart can cause sudden joy and excitement, and this in turn, if we were to receive extremely good news, this can cause the heart to fluctuate and can cause a decrease in heart energy and cause us to suffer from palpitations. The heart dislikes heat, and the points that we're going to cover during this part of the course would be heart 3, heart 5, 6 and heart 7. So the first function that we're going to look at with regard to the heart is that of governing the blood and the blood vessel. In fact, the heart dominates the blood and blood vessels, and this means that the heart is the motive force for blood circulation, while the vessels are the physical structures which contain and circulate the blood. Blood circulation relies on cooperation between the heart and the vessel, with the heart being of primary importance. And we can't overlook the influence that the liver has on the circulation of blood, whilst its important function would be the promotion of the smooth flow of qi. In chapter 44 of the Su Wen, it says that the heart dominates the blood and vessels. The physiological functions of the heart in propelling the blood relies on heart qi. When heart qi is vigorous, the blood will circulate normally in the vessels to supply the whole body. And since the heart, blood and vessels are interconnected, there are many vessels on the face. The prosperity or decline of heart qi and the amount of blood circulating will be reflected in changes in both the pulse and the complexion. And this brings us on to the second function of the heart, where the heart manifests in the face. And we look at blood circulation, again, as I said earlier on, relies on the cooperation between the heart and the blood vessel. And when the heart qi is vigorous and blood is ample, then the pulse will be strong and the complexion will be rosy. However, if heart qi is deficient, the pulse is thready and weak, and there's a pale complexion. And it says in chapter 9 of the Su Wen that the glory of the heart manifests on the face, since blood fills up its vessel. Another function of the heart, an important function of the heart, is housing the mind. And the mind in this case has a broad meaning of the outward appearance of the vital activities of the whole body, and a more narrow meaning of consciousness, for example, spirit and thinking. However, thinking is related to the 5 Zhang organs also, but principally to the heart. And blood is the main material basis for mental activities, which we covered when we covered the functions of blood. And of course, blood, as we've just discussed, is controlled and dominated by the heart. And it says in chapter 71 of the Ling Shu that the heart is the residence of the spirit. It also says in the 8th chapter of the Ling Shu as well that the mind is responsible for the performance of activity. And this shows that mental activities and thinking have their foundations in the functions of the heart. Spirit, consciousness, thinking, memory and sleep are therefore all related to the functions of the heart in housing the mind. Blood is the main material basis for mental activities, and it's controlled as well as dominated and regulated by the heart. So the function of the heart in housing the mind is closely related to that of the heart in controlling the blood and the blood vessels. The next function that we look at with regard to the heart is opens into the tongue. And opening here refers to the close structural, physiological and pathological relationship between a particular Zhang and one of the sense organs. The tongue is connected to the heart meridian interiorly, and via this connection the heart dominates the sense of taste and of speech. When the function of the heart is normal, the tongue will be rosy, moist and lustrous, and the sense of taste will be normal. The tongue will move freely. On the other hand, disorders of the heart or disharmonies of the heart will reflect on the tongue. For example, deficiencies of heart blood may give rise to a pale tongue. Flaring up of heart fire may give rise to redness of the tongue tip and ulceration of the tongue body. Stagnation of heart blood may give rise to dark purplish tongue body or purplish spots on the tongue. And there's a saying that the heart opens into the tongue and the tongue is the mirror of the heart. And this reflects the close relationship that exists between the heart and the tongue. The next function that we're going to look at is the heart's function of controlling sweat. And sweat comes from the space between the skin and the muscles, and the blood and body fluids have a common origin. And they say that when the blood is too thick, body fluids enter the vessels and thin it down. Since the heart governs the blood, and this has a relationship of mutual exchange with body fluids, and of course sweat is part of body fluids, the heart is related to sweat. A deficiency of heart qi or heart yang, let's say, may often cause spontaneous sweating, whereas a deficiency of heart yin may cause night sweating. So the heart controls sweat. Spontaneous sweating would be an association with the heart, although it can also be associated with other zang fu as well. The classic of the jade letter of the golden shrine says that body fluids enter the vessels and change to blood. Dreams, when we look at dreams, since the heart is connected with as a residence of the mind, it's very closely related to sleep, and the mind should reside in the heart, and if the heart is strong, then a person will fall asleep easily and the sleep will be a sound sleep. If the heart is weak, then the mind has no residence and it will tend to float, causing inability to fall asleep or disturbed sleep or excessive dreams. All dreams therefore are in a sort of way related to the heart, and as we'll see later on when we look at the relationship between the ethereal soul and the liver, certain dreams however are more directly indicative of heart disharmony. In chapter 8 of the Su Wen, it says that when the heart is weak, one dreams of fires. If the dream takes place in summertime, one dreams of volcanic eruptions. In the Ling Shu in chapter 43, it says when the heart is in excess, one dreams of laughing, and when the heart is deficient, one dreams of mountains, fire and smoke. The pericardium, its partner is the sanjiao. The channel itself, or the meridian itself, starts beside the nipple and flows towards the middle finger. The official is the ministerial to fire element, and again the element it shares with the heart is the fire element. And the points that we're going to study this year are pericardium 6 and pericardium 7. First function and principal function of the pericardium is that it protects the heart. It's known as Xin Bao Lu, and it's a membrane that surrounds the heart. Usually when pathological qi or pathogenic qi invades the heart, the pericardium will always be the first to be attacked, and the invasion of the pericardium by pathogenic qi will often affect the normal function of the heart. For example, invasion of the interior by pathogenic heat, which gives rise to symptoms of mental derangements such as coma and delirium, is described as invasion of the pericardium by pathogenic heat, although the clinical manifestations are the same as those of the heart. For this reason, the pericardium is not generally regarded as an independent organ, but is usually seen as an attachment to the heart. Thank you for your interest in the lecture. I hope you found it useful.